Okay guys, it's time for Wine, Music, and Games, episode 64. This time we're going back to a cellar that is one of our favorites for another great bottle of wine. Going to, and I say this maybe a little bit too often, but a true classic album that was probably at the time, I do believe, if I got this right, her most popular album in terms of chart success, though I think it's probably my number 2.
Well, yes, definitely, I think so.
Then we're going to go to Portugal, which we're going to, by the way, in June, again, to do some pavement making and making beautiful tiles. So stay tuned. So how you doing, honey bunch?
I'm doing great. How are you, dear?
All right, you staying warm in that one?
Well, we don't have much heat going on in here.
We're in the game room.
We're
we don't
cold.
heat this. Woo, it's a little cold in here, but that's okay
Yeah.
because we've got some good stuff to talk about. Hey, before we get started, remember, well, you know what? I hope you guys are doing great. And before we get started, you can sponsor us at patreon.com/GarrettsGames and listen to the audio podcast over at garrettsgames.com. All right, honey, what's the wine?
Well, we have a delicious Torrontes from Gossamer Cellars, and where it comes from is Alta Mesa. We love Gary. He's the winemaker at Gossamer, and he does some very unique grape varietals.
Definitely.
And that's one of the reasons why we're members there, is we've tasted some things there that we hadn't tasted in other places, and we've really liked them. This happens to be one that we like very much.
Yeah.
Torrontes is a grape that's originally from Argentina, and as well as from the Galicia region of Spain. That they are also known for their Torrontes.
Shelley's got the lisp down. That was good. All right. Woohoo.
This is really nice white wine. It has a great nose, a little floral, little fruit, good acidity, but not like super. It's more of like in the medium acidity range,
exactly.
and it's very smooth.
Yeah.
And it matches with a lot of the vegetarian or light types of foods that we tend to eat.
Yeah.
So if you're having a salad or a cheese plate or something like that, this works really nicely.
Definitely.
And it's really great. And I would definitely recommend hunting down a Torrontes and see if it's your style, because every grape varietal and also the terroir makes a difference too. This is what a Torrontes tastes like in California, and it's very nice.
And if you don't not getting up to the Sierra foothills or Murphy's where he is, they are online, and you can order actually online. So depending upon, of course, where you are in the world, you might be able to, because every state here in the U.S. has its own alcohol and beverage laws. It's really weird, but yeah. So Gossamer Cellars, really good
Torrontes.
stuff, definitely. All right, the music, as we said, is so Blue is probably my favorite album.
Yeah.
All right.
And he loves
Joni Mitchell. But Joni Mitchell's Court and Spark, which is the follow-up to Blue, and much more in some ways radio friendly as it moved towards some of her more jazz inflected albums. This one is just beautiful. I love the cover. And of course, going forward, and in fact, even before Blue, most of Joni Mitchell's albums were designed by her. She was a painter. In fact, she talks about in many ways how if she could have been a painter, that would have been a alternative profession that she would have loved to do. But, songs like Help Me, Free Man in Paris is on here. I mean, it's beautiful. I love A Gatefold and with all of the words, because her words are amazing. She was a poet, is a poet. If you get a chance, she was just inducted into the Kennedy Center Honors, and
beautiful.
You can see it on YouTube, and it is just beautiful to see that, coupled with who else was it? Berry Gordy was for that
Bette
one,
Midler.
and Bette Midler, exactly. It's just great. So Joni Mitchell's Court and Spark, another one. One of the reasons why I like to show an album is we have gotten away in some ways from listening to an album in its entirety. And one of the things that vinyl has allowed me to return to is, let's drop the needle. And if you do it right at the beginning of the album, you're listening to that entire side. And especially back when they were making albums, thinking in terms of vinyl, they were thinking in terms of, how does this song then follow to this song? And how do these different songs match and tell a story over song to song, not just within the song itself? And I love that. it's one of the things that is why I love music.
Yeah, and it's a mastery to really
Yeah.
be able to tell a story like that, right?
Yeah.
It's not just one song on the radio.
True.
And so you can really just appreciate all the nuances of her voice and how beautiful it is and all of her lyrics, and she's
Oh my
so
God.
talented. And
Yeah.
I concur that people should definitely see the Kennedy Center Honors. It was so good. And
good.
Brandy Carlisle just sings. Yeah,
Knocked it out of the park.
she knocked it out. It's beautiful.
Okay, now moving on to the game, and it is Rossio. This is by Orlando Sa from Pythagoras Games. Orlando Sa also did Porto, which was put out by Mabo Games. So a couple good family-friendly games. This is for 1 to 4 players. It has a solo mode right in the box. We haven't tried that. 8 plus 30 to 45 minutes, definitely 30 minutes with 2 players. And what you do is you build a frame, which is the plaza outside one. Oh, and I'm going to forget it. Well, I got to turn it because it says it right on the beginning. Oh, of course, this is the...
Well, what you should know about Portugal is the art of the ground that you're walking on is beautiful. The tiles, the cement, the way it's put together, and so that's what this is about.
Calcada Portuguesa or Calçada, maybe. It's got a little thing underneath the C, the second C, and so Rossio. This was in front of the Di Maria II Theater, Dona Maria II Theater. And so you build this frame for the plaza in front of that, and then you have 4 different types of colored tiles that are on your board, and you are going to play a card underneath your player board. The tiles fit on here, and you either play the card face down so that going forward you're going to earn a coin from this, or you play them face up, and you have to then pay the money to then collect points based on having that pattern of that color tile on the board. And you get the points for each of that tiles, that pattern of that tile. So if I paid 5 and was able to get 7 points for 4 yellow tiles in a square, or 14 if there were 2 sets of those 4 yellow tiles in a square. That's pretty hard. That's why it's worth 7 points.
Yeah.
So.
But what's really cool is the cards slide over.
Yes.
So that card could only score 3 times.
Right. So it's here.
So it's not
and then
like
it
you've
slides
kind of
over,
broken the
and
game
maybe
or
I've put
something because you're getting all these points every time. No, they keep sliding down and sliding down. So you're circulating the cards, and so this is a very family-friendly game.
Yeah, so you got 3 spots for cards, and they slide down, and you remove the one if it's all of them are there at the beginning of your turn. So you're only going to score a particular card 3 times. But it's nice to have that, if I do this, then I can build out here, and I'm going to score this many times. That's pretty cool.
And you have just a small hand of cards, so you kind of have to think, what am I going to try to do? And you can also see what the other player's doing, obviously.
Exactly.
So
try to build off that.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of luck in the game, but the game doesn't outstay its welcome, though that can lead to one very lopsided scoring game.
You can have that, but you're building something together. You're building building this pathway, and maybe you're scoring a bunch of points for 3 rounds, and then maybe the other player's going to get something because you're drafting cards off the table for your goals that you're trying to work on, and you draft them based on how many of the tiles you actually place into the frame.
That's true.
So
exactly.
It's very cool.
So again, this is Rossio from Pythagoras, designed by Orlando Sa. Really a solid, fun family game. All right, Shelley, let's do the rundown.
This is from Gossamer Cellars. It's a Torrontes, and if you like a medium white wine with a little acidity,
very good. Solid, yes. Second is, of course, the music, and that is the beautiful Court and Spark by Joni Mitchell. Wonderful, wonderful album. And finally, Rossio from Orlando Sa and Pythagoras Games. Fun stuff. Check them out if you haven't done so. And we go into more detail, by the way, on Rossio on our podcast, the audio podcast, which you can listen to at garrettsgames.com. You guys have a great week. We hope you're doing well. Take care of yourselves, and we look forward to talking to you next week. Bye.